Welcome, my dear student, in this new video. As in the last video, we discussed about the basic things of high input-output hardware, that is bus, and we also described the discussed the basic introduction things related with the bus processor bus. Now, here in this video, we try to discuss there are two types of buses available normally, that is a synchronous bus and asynchronous bus. So here, first of all, we discuss the synchronous bus. In a synchronous bus, all the device derive the timing information from the common clock line, which is equally spaced plus on this line define equal time interval. Each interval constitute a bus cycle during which the one data transfer can take place. Here, that a particular timing diagram will be in front of you. Address and data line in this and subsequent are to be given in a as a low, high, and low at the same time. This indicates that some lines are high and some are low, depending on the particular address or the data pattern being transmitted. The crossing point indicate the times at which this pattern change. A signal line in a determined or high impedance state is represented by the intermediate level for the halfway between low and high signal level. For example oriented, we will take a simple examples of that one. Let us consider the sequence of the event during an input, like that input may be a read operations. At the time of T0, the processor place the device address on the address line and set the mode control light to indicate an input operation. This information travels over the bus at a speed of determined by its physical and electrical characteristics. And the clock's width is T1 to T0 should be chosen such that it is greater than the maximum propagation delay between the processor and any of the device which is connected to the bus. It should also be wide enough to allow all the device to decode the address and the control signals so that the address device can be read respond time to you, and the address device recognizing that the output operation is requested place it input data on the data line as it to be. Now also related with that, at the end of the clock cycles, that is at the time T2, the processor stop the data lines, load the data into the input buffer. In this context, the strobe means to determine the value of the data at a given instant. For the data to be loaded correctly into a storage device, such as a register built with a flip-flop, the data must be available at the input of the device for the period greater than the setup time of the device, and hence this period of T2 to T1 must be greater than the maximum propagation time on the bus plus setup time of the input buffer register of the processor. The procedure for an output operation is similar to that of that for the input sequence, and the processor places the output data on the data lines when it transmits the address and a mode of information at time t1. The address device stores the data lines and load the data into the data buffer. The synchronous bus scheme is simple and the result is a simple design for the device interface. The clock speed must be chosen such that it accommodate the longest delay on the bus and slowest interface. Note that the processor has no way of determining whether the address device has actually responded or not. And it is simply assumed that the T2, the output data have been received by the input output devices and the input data available or not. That is called. So in this way, the signals do not appear on a bus as soon as they are to be placed on the bus, and due to the propagation delay in the interface circuit, the signal reach the device after a propagation delay which depends on the characteristic of the bus, whereas the data must be remain on the bus for some time after T2, which is equal to the whole time of the bus. Also, the data transfer has to be completed within the clock cycle. That clock period may be T2 to T0 must be such that the longest propagation delay on the bus and the slowest device interface must be accommodated. Forces all the devices to operate at the speed of the slowest device. The processor just assume that the data are to be available at T2 in case of a read operation or read by the device in case of the write operation. The most of the buses have the control signal to represent the response from the slave, and that control signal serve the two purposes, like inform the masters that the slave has recognized the address and it is ready to participate in a data transfer operation, which enable to adjust the durations of the data transfer operation, which is based on the speed of the participating slave. And a high frequency bus clock is used for the data transfer spans the several clock cycles instead of just clock cycles in the earlier cases. And this is the final last address and command complete diagram along with the different clock periods. You can observe here is the address and command requesting to read and operation appears on the bus. Here you can slave places the data on the bus and assert the slave ready signal. This is the clock change are seen by all the devices at the same time, and it is the master strobe date. So this is all about the synchronous bus. In the next video, we will try to discuss the asynchronous in details. So keep watching next video. Thank you very much.